Welcome to the Dialed In podcast. I'm your host, Callan Hahn, registered dietitian, cellular restoration practitioner, and bodybuilder. This podcast is for high-performing women that are ready to be intentional about reaching their next level of their health, performance, and life. Hello, Trey. How are you? I can hear you.
You hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you today?
Awesome. I'm doing well. How about you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me. And I want to share you with our entire audience here. This is going to be so much fun.
Oh
So, for
man.
those of you that don't know, Trey Turner, or Tristan, is the owner of actual First Class Productions, which you help 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs really gain ground on their following, their creative strategy in order for them to really optimize certain aspects of their business. And we had met kind of through multiple different paths. But before I get into that official introduction, I want you to dive in a little bit more on your brand, what you focus in on, where your expertise lies, and really allow everyone to know exactly how you help those 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs.
How's it going, everybody? As she said, my name is Trey, and I own a creative marketing business. Um, I feel like I kind of coined the term creative marketing. I don't really know many people using the word creative marketing. I know like creative or marketing strategies and things like that, but I kind of like to use the word creative marketing because what I do is I help businesses become more findable through unique marketing strategies. And I say unique because every business is different. And so I really feel like it's important to implement different strategies for different businesses depending on the type of business that they are. So I kind of fell in love with like just that process and learning about different businesses and learning about what attracts people to them, and finding ways to really help bring the right people to them and not like just anybody. So that's and I do it through means of pretty much implementing like different medias of content, so visual, audio, and sound. And so I do video production, I do photography, and I also do digital design.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Not only that, you really dive into strategy. Because
Yes.
upon us working together, I know we'd have multiple conversations. And when I gave you the scope of the original project, you were like, great, that's it. Like, where you landed the plane here, Callan? And I was like, yeah, this is a really good idea. And you were kind of questioning when I had brought that initial project. You're like, okay, where's the strategy? Where's the funnel going? Who is this speaking to? You had brought so much more context to bring that creative work to life. And I think that is a huge component most people are missing from videographers, photographers, individuals that they are working with in that creative space is you have such a wealth of knowledge of business strategy and how to apply certain things and what part of the funnel they actually fit in. And I just want to elaborate more on like your expertise, like how did your skill set get really refined with that business strategy with the actual clients that you are working with? Because I know you've had some incredible individuals that you've worked with that are, very well known in the business space. So if you want to share like some of your client experience and how it allowed you to really encompass this strategy aspect.
So I definitely want to start with just like saying a lot of it definitely has to do with me having a passion for the craft and what I do. Um, and so it really requires me to be present when I'm working with my client, 100%. And was to take myself out of the picture. Which there was a time when it was all about Trey, and I definitely would love to be the star of the show. When I was younger, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in front of the camera, and at some point, I don't know what happened. Like, just I wanted to get on the other side, and so um, putting people in the spotlight it became important to me. And um, I would say about 3 to 4 years ago is when it started. I was working with a client. It was a B2B relationship, and I didn't quite like it. Wasn't It was new to me working with like a business like this, and they they had a mentor. Their mentor was Myron Golden, and they pretty much just all they could do was talk about him. And I didn't know who this guy was at the time, and so they suggested I read his book. I wasn't much of a book reader at the time either, but for some reason I picked up that book because it's a successful woman in front of me telling me to read a book. I don't meet people like this all the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this book. I read it.
What was the
Yeah.
name of the book?
The book was called Boss Moves.
Okay, Boss Moves.
Business Optimization Success Secrets.
Mm.
Definitely not a book I would ever pick up at the time. Like, I'm usually, if I did pick up a book, that last book can remember picking up was probably Captain Underpants. And I was, so, so like picking up a business strategy book was not really an interest of mine at the time. And so, um, I mean, I was reading it and it immediately like spoke to me and really caught my interest. And that's where that journey started. And from there, like I actually ended up meeting Mr. Myron Golden at some point, not too far, maybe months later after that, and just being introduced to that environment of his network and his students and the people like that were winning in business. It
Yeah.
was contagious. It was contagious.
So
So
for some of those that are following here that don't know who Myron is, can you give a little 411 on his expertise?
he's a business consultant, and he coaches other business owners um, in helping them scale their businesses from zero to whatever your goal is. So 7 figures, 8 figures, and he's great at it. And I would say it's because of that experience that I took my skill, which was just a videographer. Taking nice videos and pictures is what I really thought I was doing at the time, to realizing and understanding that what I'm really doing is marketing. And marketing wasn't really a term I used ever during that time either. And so I learned what that was, and how it applied to what I was doing. And till this day, like every single day, I'm like perfecting my knowledge, my understanding of what marketing is and how it can help other businesses and other people, and as well as myself. And so I think marketing is one of the most powerful things in the world, and it definitely took a lot of you know mental fortitude, a lot of patience, a lot of um, discipline, sacrifice, um, and just really a change of lifestyle in being able to make that shift in life to going from just this kid who loved using his camera to this kid now who loves to learn and educate himself and challenge himself every day. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think yeah.
When it comes to the standard that you hold in the creative space, it
Mhm.
is really unique to be able to work with an individual because we have had that experience together. Someone who is quick on their feet can really turn a situation from, I mean, that was an okay video, but let's change XYZ and we're going to riz it up a little bit.
Mhm.
Your creative brain just works so fast in the situations of knowing we have all this content to batch. We have a short amount of time. We have to make sure that everything, like when you look at a video from start to finish, whether it's an ad, whether it's a VSL, whether, it is certain types of specific creative work, there is time and intentionality in understanding the transitions, the hook, the closing, CTA, all these different things. Like, what is the body? When are people going to lose interest in a video? All of these things. You are from start to finish evaluating it so fast in real time that there was a lot of times we would film an ad together and you'd be like, ooh, let's redo that, but let's change this. And it was crazy that those one little things that we would change
Yeah. Yeah.
impacted the entire scope of the project and like really reframing things. So your love and passion comes out so much when a client is in the day with you, is because
Mm.
you know what our gifts and talents are as business owners. And you want to, just like you said earlier on this call, like you love to put us in the spotlight.
Yeah. And I think you said the word reframe. And that's something I've had to do over the last 3, 4 years, so yeah, that I've been doing this full time, is reframe the way, well, one, the way that I think about content and marketing, but also help my clients reframe it as well for their business. And um, I think I know, well, it works for me. Best way to think about content is like content is your virtual stage, like basically, or where you're placing your content is your virtual stage. And for at a concert, you see an artist, that's an actual stage. You're gonna like they're performing on actual stage. They mess up, that's it. But with content, you get as many takes as you want to before you decide to put it on that stage. And so I like to look at social media as a stage. Wherever you're putting it at is your stage. And so you want to be on the right stage. You want to know, okay, where's your audience? Like, where's your stage? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they on YouTube, Instagram? And it makes it a lot easier when you understand what stage you're standing on, who's in front of that stage watching you, and then from there you create the content. Um, and
Yeah. And all the platforms are so different too in how you speak to your audience.
mhm,
In Instagram, you're going to speak to your audience a certain way versus YouTube, you're going to speak a completely different manner.
exactly.
And your ability to really understand that language barrier
Mhm,
and how things need to be transitioned
yeah.
is so good. Because you just understand that people are going to YouTube to look for a specific type of presentation style.
Hmm.
And then not only that, but who are you speaking to? And I think that's something that we worked together very closely on in the beginning, and you interrogated me on a lot is you were like, where's this stuff going and who are you speaking to? And you're
Yeah.
like, great, you're speaking to high performing women, but we got to be more specific than that. Are they moms? Are they business owners? Like we have to really niche down and talk exactly to that person that
Hmm.
you can help. And I think that makes a really big difference in working with someone behind the camera is you can tell immediately, even though you're not a high performing woman, you just know what hits because you have seen through multiple different clients that you have, and plus how we met. And I can actually disclose that now. So we met through the Sales Girl world. So I
Hmm.
went to Sales Girl Summit, and then I was in the inner circle, and we traveled to New York and all these different places. And I kept seeing you all over the place. And I'm like, gosh, I know one day I'm going to work with Trey. I just know it. Because when we were in New York, we were at that restaurant and we just sat down and talked forever. And I was like, you were just that one videographer that I couldn't get out of my mind. That I was like, I know he has some rare creative skills that I can use one day. And when I finally pulled the trigger, it was just inevitable that I just knew everything was so aligned.
It was so fast. I mean,
Yeah.
you moved fast. But I do want to say, like, I learned so much from you though, in the realm of just like, of course, health and wellness and like bodybuilding. And like it's crazy how you can learn. And I think that a lot of people are like very, I guess you could say, judgmental in a way. Like you you may choose not to approach something or try something or speak to someone because you don't think they have what you want. But and I think it's very important to be a person of service and not somebody that's always looking to get something out of somebody.
Yeah.
Um, and like I did not expect our encounter to lead to where it led to.
Yeah.
I had no clue that it would lead us here, and working together. And, I know it's going to lead to much more. But yeah, I had no clue that this relationship would create the kind of impact that it had just from, our conversation sitting at that restaurant. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm a
so
crazy sales girl though. I'm gonna ask all sorts of questions, but I knew for certain I was like, oh, okay, I know his experiences, I know some level of his skill set, but I know that first contract that we worked out together. How many times did I ask you, okay, what else can you do that I just don't know about yet? Because like anyone who is at the highest standard of their industry, they
mhm.
always have like 10 other skill sets that are like hidden behind the curtain that you just don't know about. And I always like to investigate and ask people, like, if I know I can use their services, I'm like, ooh, what else do they have behind the curtain that I just don't know about? And I think that at first contract is when you like really opened me up to like, I was like, oh, this is a no brainer. Like, Trey can do so much for what we need right now. And the biggest thing was your expertise with podcasting
Oh man.
and how much you have helped us with that because I know that first time when I went to Tampa, ooh, let's talk about this one first. When we went to Tampa, we my first initial when you said I move fast, I messaged you and immediately was like, "Hey, I got this wild idea. I'm going to
Hmm.
walk the streets of at first it was Atlanta, and I was like, I want to have these like I want to take our ads and I want to blow them up on billboards and I want to like show people in real time our ads and get people's reactions. I was like, I'm tired of guessing. I want to get this figured out." And you're just like, wild idea, but you're like, where's the plane going to land here? How is this going to provide you a return? I mean, this seems like a data project. So then you had evaluated some of my stuff behind the scenes. You had gone to my stand store, looked at some of my offers, and you saw my blind spots. You're
Hmm.
like, ooh, Kellen, you need VSLs. Here's some other ads that you can run. Let's do this project in Tampa. We can do the street interviews that you want to do, but then also we can do VSLs, we can do ads, things that are going to really bring the entire project full circle. And I was like, oh, this is such a better idea. So like we expanded on the scope of the project. But the really cool thing is when you say I act fast, when I was talking about doing street interviews, I had shown you like some examples from social media that I had seen before and I was like, this, like, you really have to be confident in order to just walk up to strangers and have a
Yeah.
conversation with them. And at first, I was, falling into that fear, shy, everything. And then, like, we just looked at each other and we're like, we got to do this. Like, we got to buck up and we got to, like, follow suit and we just got to get the project done. But we
Yeah.
learned so much by doing that terrifying project of street interviews
Hmm.
because how many people rejected us? How many people,
Oh
like,
man.
we were not anticipating, like, some people went above and beyond and were like, oh, that was an incredible interview. And then we had some that were like, I mean, it was okay. So it was
Yeah.
like all over the board, so many highs and lows. But we learned so much about how women react to ads. And that was the main goal
Yeah.
is the high performing women that we are showing these ads to, what is their real time? Like, is it something that's going to stop the scroll? Or if you just like throw it in their face in the public, are they going to be like, whoa, I did not want to see that?
Hmm.
And I think that was our biggest takeaway is because we experienced some level of that we're like, I don't know why when you see it in person, it just makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
changed the whole trajectory of how we run ads as a business, is
Wow.
because we want people to lean in, not push outward when they see an ad.
Oh,
And when we saw it in real time, I think that was like the biggest aha moment that we had.
yeah. No, that was wild for me, and it's like because I was kind in the background. I'm holding the camera, so I'm like, you're right there. So I'm just like, I see everything, and it was, yeah, it was one of those moments where, like, it was a valuable learning moment that we cherished, although it felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
But
I
the
think,
crazy thing
yeah.
is, if we ever wanted to do it again, we're 10 times more equipped
Oh yeah.
to handle the situation so differently. Because how many times did we get in the car afterwards and we're like, ooh, we need to go to a new location? Ooh, and that was another thing that we realized. If you are a business owner and
Hmm.
you are running ads at the wrong location, you are going to spend a lot of money and not get a return.
Mm.
But the minute we moved locations, our ROI on our ability to have incredible engagement was amazing.
Amazing.
So it was like understanding, is the messaging right? Are you talking to the right people? Are you in the right location? Are you targeting the right way? Like we learned so much about like ad reframing
Yeah.
by doing street interviews. And who would have thought that?
Yeah, and it makes so much sense. It goes back to traditional marketing, which a lot of people have like swayed away from it because of just how big digital marketing has grown, which I can understand that. But I have a love for traditional marketing because I did it back in high school. Like I was literally that kid handing out flyers for the skating rink, like physical flyers and going to school handing out flyers. So like that physical thing that a lot of people don't like to do. Um, it's something that I still have in me. So, but that right there, that activity it was different, and so because of the um, I guess the substance of the ads that we were walking around with was a little bit more, I guess you could say, sensitive, or
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
sensitive to some
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things, and you learn a lot about people as well. We learned a lot about just kind of how people respond to certain things, and that can be used in several different areas of your business. But yeah, no, that was fun, and I'm curious to know what's next. With
yeah.
coaching and what we're gonna come up
Well,
with.
what's next right now is the podcasting. So
Yeah.
that was something that I actually didn't even know you did podcasting until we went to the retreat in New Jersey.
Mm.
And we were riding in the bus together, or the van together, and you were talking to me about your podcast. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just remember after we were in Tampa, we had shot our podcast together.
Hmm.
And most podcasts are about an hour long, 30 minutes long. Boy, ours was like nearly 2 hours long, where we just dove in to my story, talked a lot about bodybuilding, talked a lot about
Yeah.
me going through my transition from corporate America to being homeless to creating a six-figure business, and that transition. And that was the first time I genuinely felt comfortable
Hmm.
and felt called to tell my story.
Wow.
Because before you, I had never really had anyone open me up to the thought of, people actually need to hear this.
Yeah.
Like, this could be very transformative for someone who's going through a really hard time to hear that other business owners haven't just had the highlight reels that you see on social media.
Yeah.
Like, I had a hard time that I went through. And I never quit. I persevered. And it all transpired to there was one constant that I never changed. And it was the only thing that I knew. It was health and how to take care of myself.
Mm.
And like
Yeah.
I always tell people at the end of the day, there's one thing people can never take away from you
Yeah.
is your ability to breathe. Unless somebody chokes you out. That's different. But like at the end of the day, your health is the only thing the government, other people, external forces cannot take away from you.
Hmm.
And it is just so crazy how some people get so into their business and they're in the day to day. And what happens? Their health becomes a lower priority, lower priority. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it when I have time.
Until
Did
you.
you know that if you just took care of your health today, you could perform better tomorrow so you don't get behind? You can perform better the whole rest of the week. You can fire on all cylinders. It's Friday right now. Most people by Friday are like, oh, ready for the weekend so I can rest. And I'm like, let's go. It's Friday. We're all fired up.
Yeah.
We're ready to still crush it. And that's
Yeah.
the reality. When you take care of yourself incrementally every single day and you prioritize your health
Yeah.
because you are the most important thing in your life, your
Hmm.
spirit is different.
You
Your
move different.
relationship with God is different. You move different.
Mm.
And I think that's what so many people miss in business is you being that creative mind, like you understand that like health is such a translation. And like when you're really heavy in the health space, you understand that being creative is part of your health. And when we say
Yeah.
that, like there's different ways to be creative. You can be creative with a camera. You can be creative with your body movement. You can be creative with your breath work. You can be creative with your nutrition. There's so many things that you can be creative with, but that creative mind that is constantly just being ignited and provoked to actually work, that's what makes someone healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
No,
just like I see the people that are at the mecca of health and wellness have a huge creative instinct in them.
yeah. I think I've learned. I feel like that little capsule of time we spent together. Like I've learned so much about just taking care of your health. From like making sure you get enough sleep. I mean, even down to just like information you didn't know you need to know. Like, 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 it, like, your kidneys. You have to sleep, or your kidneys. I can't remember exactly remember what it was, but two a.m., 3 a.m. is when um
Your body's
your body,
detoxifying.
yeah, your body's detoxifying, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I've never had a doctor ever tell me anything about that, like ever.
There
And
were
so
so many increments of time where, because I actually know, like, when you go in and do events, I
mhm,
know the scope of work that you're doing. I
yeah,
know that when the event shuts down, you go back to the hotel and you're editing like crazy, and you might be
mm,
editing till 2, 3 in the morning, and you go to sleep for a couple hours and then you start over again. Like, I used to work events with
yeah,
video cameras and stuff like that. So I know well and clear what your hours can look like at certain events. So I think I had a pre-download of what your environment and life was kind of like at those events. I think that's why I was telling you things that you needed to hear. Where I was like, Trey, we got to focus in on your health.
yeah. And it just came like you were, it wasn't. It was you being you, and then it was like also you kind of like seeing me. Like you saw me in action. You saw like the energy behind what I did, but you also was like, hey, I'm gonna coach you right now because like
Because I
you're
love you
great.
so
Like,
much.
yeah, like you're great at what you do, and I just want to share this because you've done so much for me. And I'm just like, I'm listening, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, 'cause you didn't have to do anything. Of course, I was there to help you, and you, yeah, you definitely taught me a lot when it came to that, and some of it I'm still digesting, and kind of, you know, getting acclimated and still getting some routines in line. But it's
Yeah.
I could definitely say that it's again, this is why I love why what I do, and like the group of people that I chose to do business with, because and I can only thank God for this. Like He's constantly bringing me around people who serve, and if you're around a bunch of people who love to serve, and you're also a person who loves to serve, and everybody's just getting, you know, just getting their cup filled, and
Yeah.
it's a blessing, and it's great to have, and I'm for me, one of like I definitely am a person who loves to challenge himself, all the time. And so, by the way, if you got a challenge coming up, let me know. So, I'm definitely someone who loves to challenge himself, and but it's usually it's in a mental way. And when I do have those physical uh, attempts to go challenge myself, like go for a run every morning, maybe a mile or something like that. One time I did a 7 mile run, which was on accident, but it happened and it felt great after. And so, but I really do like I focus a lot on my mental health, in a sense of just like making sure that I can like that I'm I'm feeding my mind with things every day that's going to help me keep moving forward. Because I just know how, your mind can get to you and, you can really just give up or stop or freeze or just be
Yeah.
stagnant, because of what's going on up here. And so, uh, you know, I know that, being able to combine those two, mental and physical, after learning from you and seeing like, like I actually one helps the other from what I learned from you. Like you push through something, at the end of it, your whole mental has just become like it's exploded and now you're a whole different person.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more exciting than experiencing that shift in like identity or just a shift in like something you never knew was possible. Um, and I feel like that was one of the most impactful moments during that podcast interview with you, that I learned was just like what you did for people, um, in that time or at the end of that experience with them, what they what they experienced, and they were totally different people, and I'm just like, wow. And you can experience that multiple times throughout your life. And so, um, I'm yeah, I'm eager to experience more, mental shifts as well as, and not just, mental shifts that come from, you know, the things that I feed my mind, but mental shifts that happen because of you know, the the physical challenges that I go for.
Yeah, I think it's so easy in our space, in our environment, because we put ourselves in arenas with
Mhm.
people who have high mental and physical standards. They know that the physical is going to drive their mental capacity. So they show up every single day.
Mhm.
And when you surround yourself in an environment of people that is the normal, it is normal to get up every morning, work out, have your morning routine so that you can fire on all cylinders all day long. And that becomes the new standard. I mean, you see Macy McNeely all the time. Her sales girl standard, she puts it all the time. Now,
Yeah.
for me, I am, the fitness expert. I don't post a lot of fitness content because I view it differently. That is my sanctuary. That is a place for me time. It is not to be shared with anybody else. It
Mhm.
is my place to go and devote and worship my body. And it's just something that it's like, I really don't like when I want to be in front of a camera is always in the business space.
Yeah.
And I want to be, I want to be dialed in. I want to have my hair and my makeup done and I want to be able to present myself in a way. But when I go to the gym, I am very low key, just in the zone. And that's what you're trained when you're a bodybuilder. You
Mhm.
lock in. You go to the gym and you just basically tune out all the noise.
Mhm.
And you're so locked in. And when you forget about everything, like there are some workouts that I was like, oh man, I've been in the gym for 2 hours. Like I get so locked in, I'm in the
Yes.
zone. And then it's like, wait, was I supposed to do anything after this? Like that is how much I forget about everything. That's why I always generally work out at night is because I want to get done with the gym, I want to shower, and then I'm going to go to bed. Because it's like my brain is so like in the zone, and it's so funny because, especially bikini competitors, everyone
Mhm.
will be like, well, how many reps did you do? We don't count reps at all. We forget how to count. Like, that's how locked in we are. We are
Yeah.
so focused in on like muscle engagement, muscle memory, and really like locking in on how does it feel when you're actually contracting the muscles and doing the exercise that we forget to count reps.
Wow.
So, like, it's so unique that our perspective, the mindset that we are trained under, is so different than what society sees as like the typical gym. So
Look, I'm afraid not to count. I got to like at the end of it, I'm like, how many was that?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
But yeah,
it's
that's
just,
the thing. Like, I was working out with a girlfriend one time, and she's like, "How many reps do you do?" I was like, "I don't know. I lost count after three."
mm-mm. Wow.
But you just, when you do the actions all the time, it's you experience the gym of how does it feel?
Right.
Am I feeling strong today? Am I feeling weak? Are my muscles actually firing today? Or is there something blocking the engagement that I'm having? You know, so it's like you really learn your body with so much
Mm.
depth. And it's more of like an experiential workout.
Interesting. See, you're doing it again.
I know.
Doing it again.
So fascinating.
Wow.
Bodybuilding is just a very unique animal of a sport.
Wow.
So
So
good.
you're telling me counting my reps could be blocking the engagement that I'm having.
Yeah, because you're not focused, you're not solely locked in on the muscle.
That makes so much sense.
That's why I just stopped counting reps. And like for our clients, I'll put rep ranges on there, but it's ranges. And I'm like, if you forget to count because you're so locked in, great. That's how it's supposed to be.
That makes me wonder, like how, like what's like, because now I need to figure out how to stop counting. Like,
Oh,
because
it's easy.
I
Like
just
if you're doing biceps, just stare at your arm and like pretend like you can see the muscles through the skin. It, I'm telling you, it's the most wild thing ever. But when you
okay.
change your perspective on what you're focusing on, it's
Yeah.
so crazy how much faster your muscle grows. If you're focused on the muscle, your muscle's going to grow. If you're focused on the numbers,
Oh yeah.
your number obsession is going to grow.
Oh yeah. I gotta like that five has to come like five. Like I'm really pushing that number. That's a yeah. You got that's a really good point. Wow. Y'all see what she does? Like
Change your perspective left and right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's very powerful for people who have trouble going to the gym because yeah, you go there and you're like, okay, how many of this am I gonna do? How many of that? And I guess you can get into the mindset of just like not worrying about any of that and just go and just do it
Yeah.
and come out of there. Yeah, that is definitely that requires probably definitely some coaching for a lot of the world because
Well, yeah, because I
that's
think traditional, like you go to PE classes, how
mm,
people just in society were taught,
mhm.
your general fitness coaches out there, anyone from like a basic standard of health and wellness
Yeah,
has never even reached a level of capacity to learn the wealth of knowledge to the standards that we are in health and wellness. And I think that's something when somebody is looking for a health and wellness coach,
hmm,
you really have to investigate what is their knowledge base. Have they done the hard thing themselves or have they coached? And there's some people out there that have never done bodybuilding before, but boy, they have an eye for it and they can coach it. So that is always something to consider. Like there's two different avenues. Have they done it themselves and really conquered everything? Or do they just have an innate ability to coach people? Or even better yet, do they have both?
mm, mm,
And I think that is really, I think the people who have both are going to be the stronger one because you've gone through the mental, emotional, physical hurdles of a bodybuilding prep. You know it's normal. There's
yeah.
this one body cue that I tell everyone, and it fascinates them because they're like, wait, when I go to a low body fat percentage, I'm supposed to experience XYZ. And I'm like, yes. And here's what it is, you should be feeling ants crawling underneath your skin. That's what it feels like. So when you get to an extremely low body fat percentage, we just, like everybody in the industry just calls it ants. You feel like these ants are crawling underneath your skin. And most of the time for women, it's going to be around their thighs. And that means you can feel your body eating its own body fat when you are at a low enough deficit and your stimulus is high enough with different movements, patterns, whether it is exercise, cardio, whatever combination that stimulus looks like. When you create that perfect storm stimulus, you can feel it's kind of like itchy and you're like, oh, why does it feel like little bugs are crawling underneath my skin? It's your body eating its own body fat. When you get to that body cue, you are doing something because it is only 1% of people get there. And there's
That's
probably about 40 body cues that you need to hit in order to get in bodybuilding shape. 40. So
okay.
normally when people feel the ants, you're
Mhm.
about 35. You're about 35. You're almost there. You're
Oh,
almost there. There's about 4 more cues you need to hit before you are stage lean. And all these different cues, it like we see them as like little like hurdles that people have to jump over. When you get to like one body cue, you're like, great, you're right on track. Go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. But from a physiological standpoint, it is very common for all of those hurdles to be in a similar order, or at least to be like bunched up. Like they'll like
mhm,
be bunched up in like fives, where it's
mhm.
like, okay, I don't know what order these 5 are going to be in, but you need to hit all these 5 before you can go to the next level. And
And
sometimes it's physical,
mhm,
sometimes it's emotional.
mhm,
You know,
mhm.
sometimes it is, and when I say physical, there's a couple different ways. There's feeling, body communication, and then
Yeah.
there's like physical pain, tired, feeling exerted. So we
Okay.
see it in kind of two separate different segments. It's like, is my body happily communicating with me, telling me these like odd cues of like I'm all of a sudden sensitive to fabric now. I'm feeling, bugs crawling underneath my skin. Like I'm, going through all of this stuff. And then you have the gym felt hard today. Like I could only lift 5 pounds when I could do normally 35 pounds on shoulders,
Wow.
where like people have to really weight down, or they feel the onset of an injury or something like that. So there's like kind of two different classifications from a physical standpoint, but you have to experience all of them in order to get to the end result. And
Wow.
I think most people don't even look at a bodybuilding prep that way. They just think like, oh, it's too hard. I don't think I could ever achieve that. But when you get in it and you're like, ooh, I got to go to this next cue. And like some clients, I'll tell them like the heads up of like, hey, we got to wait until you experience these. And then
Right.
there's other people that I'm not quite sure how their body's going to respond. So I might keep them hidden. And I'm like, hey, when something different, unique, or completely out of the norm comes up, communicate it. Tell me about it.
Okay.
So it's just like dependent on the client of how experienced are they with their body. Because if it's their first time ever prep and they have never been an athlete before, a lot of the times I just hold back and I'm like, you just tell me when something's a little different.
Okay.
Because I want them to experience
Mm,
the aha moments. But for like my performance pro athletes, they've already had half of those experiences. So I'm just going to be like, hey, remember this? You're going to have it again. So just make sure that you're cautionary about it.
huh.
But that's the importance of having coaches and guides, is
I
because we
agree.
can navigate you to each one of those little hurdles.
Yeah, and yeah, that and quickly sometimes.
Yeah, very
According
quickly.
according to you, like much like half the time than most coaches can even like create transformations. At least, yeah.
Yeah, when you understand inflammation, internal organ inflammation, stuff like that, water retention, all of it,
Mm,
you see things so differently
yeah, yeah.
because you know how to read the client. Okay, is this stress induced, or is this you not pushing hard enough and you've got more gas in the tank?
Mm,
So there's a huge identifier to really understand. Is someone not pushing themselves hard enough, or are they at a hormone dysbiosis where you got to really pull back?
hmm.
Where we've been in the middle of bodybuilding preps before, and I've canceled cardio for the whole week because I'm like, your body is too stressed. You can't do cardio. Like, you cannot cardio your way out of inflammation. Like, we need to calm the body down so that we can continue the prep.
Yeah, yeah.
And their eyes light up. They're like, no, 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 I have to do all the cardio. I have to do it. I have to do it. They're like, that's what bodybuilders do. And I'm like, no,
Mm-mm, not
this
you.
is a time where you need to have a coach that tells you to sit down. You're in timeout right now.
Yeah, yeah. We hate like athletes. I was an athlete as well. We hate being benched. Like, what
Yeah.
you mean? What do you mean? I say, no, chill, relax. So I understand. I can understand that. Yeah, that's a coach
But
is
you,
not.
yeah, you say it in the most sincere and honest way because you know it's the best for the athlete. You know it's going to be the best thing for them because once their body does calm down, that's when the magic happens.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So beautiful. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Okay, so I know you are on a time constraint today. I want you to dive in and tell everyone about platform, why you created it, and how
Okay.
it's going to have such a big impact in the future.
So platform is my podcast that I started about a year and a half ago, maybe. And it's my podcast where I interview like business owners and I talk to them about how they grew their business, how they grew their community, and how they established their platform. And I came up with the word platform, because of how I reframed, um, uh, social media platform, of course, but I look at it as a stage. This is your platform. This is where you stand and, um, you'll be seen. And so, for the right, for the business owners that can cater to my audience, I invite them to platform to tell their story, to share their expertise, to talk about how they got to where they got. And I mean, the stories that I hear, it's like mind blowing sometimes. And for me, being someone who's 3 years ago just fell in love with the idea of educating myself and learning more about people. Uh, that podcast was one of those opportunities where I got to do it, and as well as share it with the world at the same time. And so, I do feel like podcasts are one of the most powerful marketing tools that exist today. Just like television, like Oprah when she was doing her show, and Ellen DeGeneres, like those, very very similar to those. But I feel like uh, now, because of the number of free platforms that exist today, it's a lot easier to for a business to market themselves. And so, I really like, and then, like, I don't know everything about marketing. I know a lot. I know the whole lot. um, but I've learned so much through platform, that it's not only helped me. It's helped my guests. It's helped a lot of the people who've watched it. And I continue to. I mean, I plan to continue the uh, the podcast for as long as God will let me. But that's just the beginning of the idea for a platform. Platform is, like, the plan for it is like, platform is going to be an event that you attend one day, and it's going to be a place where people come and learn and uh, workshop, create content, and just grow their business. It's going to be amazing. And so, um,
Well, I'm going to be
when
there.
oh yeah,
I'm definitely going to be there
oh
because I
yeah,
understand the vision that you're creating. And it's so beautiful because now more than ever, there's a massive trust recession with coaches, with people who offer services. And I feel like people are just craving that authenticity. They're craving, really getting to know people, understanding, okay, they're going to go on a deep dive in this topic. Let's see if this is aligned for me. And I think it just creates so much opportunity for people to validate that, yes, this is the business owner that I'm in full alignment with, and this
right,
is who I want to trust, while I go on this business avenue. So I feel like, to your point, podcasts are so powerful is because it just creates more context in validating decisions.
yeah,
And
yeah. No,
being in the space that we are, high ticket services or just services, period, the space and the community of people that we are involved in, first of all, we all love helping people.
yeah, that's why we
And
started our businesses. Yeah,
when you are constantly networking with people that have those high standards, and I know I've hit on this multiple times in this live, but when the standards are raised and you see how other people are conducting business, how other people are doing their podcasts, how other people are coaching, have, different portals or different onboarding techniques, this and that, a business owner can't help but raise their standards even more when they have more exposure to all of that.
Oh my, yeah. Yeah.
And when we look at, and I just, preach this to everyone, like when you're looking at working with someone in business in the future, like really analyze their circle. What
Hmm.
is this? What is the standards of the circle that they run in? Because that'll tell you exactly what their standards are for delivery, for your ability to transform, for everything else, is because they've seen an extraordinary world. And when you are living in an extraordinary world, you can't help but want that for your clients.
Hmm.
And I've had so many people come on board with dialed in coaching that they're like pleasantly like surprised. They're like, wow, you guys offer all this? And it's like, well, yeah, because we've been in inner circles and we've been in business spaces with high performing women where I was like, oh, I want to do that with my business. I want to
Exactly.
take this little nugget. I want to, take this on and I want to improve certain areas here. And even
Mhm.
like the VSL that we did, you've seen so many high level VSLs through all the different business professionals that you've worked with,
Yeah.
that I remember sending you like the first script of like, okay, I think this is what I want to do. And you took one quick look at it and you're like, nope, we got to redo this. We got to make it
Hmm.
sound authentically like your brand. And being able to have your standard that was already set really, really high, and I come in new to the option of like, okay, this is a new style that I have zero experience with, and you were able to do that quick course correction for me to where you're like, okay, here's how we're going to reframe things. We're going to do things in a little bit of a different format. Still sounds like you, but you have to realize when people are watching a video, you have to slowly take them through the process and walk
Hmm.
them through. You can't just, it's like in business, you see business owners all the time wanting to like throw out their first ad and they want their clients to marry them. Like, sign on right now.
Yeah.
You have to realize, boy, it's like meeting a guy for the first time. It's like first date, we're gonna get married. Well, it's like no, you gotta have your first date, then you gotta have your second date, you gotta have your first kiss, then you gotta, maybe live together for a little while, maybe get engaged, like all these things. Then you're getting married. You
Right.
gotta get a puppy first too. Don't forget that. That taking a client, a cold client, boy,
Hmm.
you gotta nurture them. You really gotta bring them into your extraordinary world, how you live, where your standards are at, and like really nurture them into that because just general cold leads don't know who you are. And that was a lot of where my brain had to really transition in the creative space of when we were doing cold prospecting ads. I got to introduce myself. These people have no idea who I am, what I do, everything. And that was like a big, I was so used to speaking to a warm audience. I was so used to speaking to my following.
Yeah.
And when I realized, like, oh, there's a difference, that was an aha moment for me. That I was like, oh, okay, now I got to do these really simple ads that are like, hey, I'm Kellen Hahn, registered dietitian, cellular restoration practitioner. Like, open it up there at former bodybuilder
Right.
to where people even know who I am, and then nurturing them into like, okay, this is the depth of work that we do for high performing women. So
Yeah.
it is a full nurture where you can't just throw everything all out at your ads at once. Like there was a woman that once said this to me. She was like, simple scales, fancy fails. And I think that was in total alignment with what we had worked on in Tampa, is we simplified so much and we got a better ROI on it.
Yeah, we didn't think too hard about a lot of that. After we knew what we wanted to do, it was like it was
Yeah.
one
We
and
had
done.
fun. We had fun
Almost
with
done.
it.
We had fun. It was like it wasn't stressful.
Yeah.
Like there
I
was
was the crazy person. I was like, hey, let's extend the Airbnb one more day because
yeah.
we were so excited to do one more day of filming content.
Yeah, yeah, no, and you literally you got so comfortable so fast, and when after you realize like how much of yourself you actually could just be, and not have to really think about what like because you know the stuff like you know what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people they get think about content and they think about scripts and they think about I mean scripts are good depending on what it is you're doing, but it's not necessary. And so like I think people think too much about like the scripts, the camera angle, the lighting, and there's a case by case scenario. So but for the most basic standard piece of content that can still be as powerful as a billboard ad. If I don't even know why I said billboard. That can still be powerful. You can be just like this in
Mm.
front of your phone, talking about the things that you know to the people
Well,
that.
you could be more effective talking in your phone. You want to
Yeah.
know why? It's because you can get on ads and you can specifically target the person you want to see it. If I have an ad on a billboard, traffic is driving by.
Oh
How
yeah.
many people driving by are my ideal client? I don't know. So you don't
E-
have control over that.
Exactly.
So
The location is just that prime.
yeah, true.
And so so location, again, location means everything, but I'm not a huge fan. Um uh, in addition to the other services that I do offer, it's not just all digital. So I am going into the local marketing realm as well, because I can still provide those assets as well. So if I want to provide an asset for a billboard, I could. But I feel like there's more powerful ways to locally advertise yourself, and less expensive ways to advertise yourself locally. That is so worth it, and like genius, that I can't wait to really lay it out when I do. And but it's just, yeah, don't think too hard about content. Like,
Yeah.
if you are a fitness expert, like, just prop your phone up every time you go exercise, and just record it, and put some words over it, some inspiring words. Like, that's content. You literally, that's all you can post that
Documentation.
every single day. Yeah, you can post that every single day, and you will attract someone.
Yeah.
And then you just go from there. Like, it's literally just doing what you love to do every day and documenting it.
Yeah. So one final thing, because I value your time and I know we're on a time constraint. So there was one moment that we had together
Mhm.
where we were driving in the car and you're like, Kellen, you should do more like behind the scenes stuff of you just being you. What did I do instantly? I grabbed my phone and I'm like, hey, I was like, I'm just here with Trey. And I immediately, and after I filmed it, I was like, I'm not even looking at it. I'm just posting it.
Yeah,
And you were like a deer in headlights. You're like, you
I
just
was.
did that so fast. And I was like, I'm an action taker. High performing women are action takers. And if you are the expert, and this is how I just want to like, my experience with you felt so comfortable that I trusted everything that you said. And the crazy thing is that immediate video, I had so much response on it that was completely unscripted, on the fly, us just being us. And so many people were engaging with that one video that I was like, oh, I just need to be me. So there was so much of you like saying, okay, we're not going to be performative Callan anymore. You're going to
Mm,
be you because that's what people want. They want authenticity. They want the
absolutely.
real you. And I think that's why we work so well together, is because you evoke that out of me to
Mm.
really be authentically me. I don't ever feel judged in your space. I feel like I can be the biggest weirdo that I, and
Yeah.
feel zero remorse about it, because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, for anyone looking for someone to bring their brand to life from a creative aspect, I highly encourage reaching out to Trey, because Trey has been a game changer for me to be able to show up on social media. And I just want everybody else to feel this way. So, Trey, where can everybody find you?
Thank you, Callan. You can find me on Instagram here. Here, Instagram, at Trey First Class underscore Productions. You can find me on YouTube at platform the podcast. You can find me on Facebook, Tristan Turner, LinkedIn, Tristan Turner. And I know there's one more. There's got to be one more. There's one more. I know it is. But Trey First Class and brandvisionpros.com is my website. So yeah. And Callan, thank you so much for having me on your
Yes. Oh my
podcast.
gosh. Thank you for being a part of this IG Live. And we cannot wait. I'm going to be posting the podcast episode that we did together, because I know everybody is anxiously awaiting it. That is going to be posted all over my social media this weekend. And we are It was a
That's,
privilege
there's
to
some
be able to
juicy
speak with you
goodness.
on that. So
There's some
thank
juicy
you.
goodness in that podcast show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I hope you have the most incredible weekend, but make sure you guys watch that podcast episode on platform, and we will see you later. Bye.